Hello and welcome to Winter Disco Tabletop Gaming. In this video we are theorizing and throwing down some predictions about what is going to happen on this weekend's online preview for Games Workshop. They are calling it the Shadow, Iron and Broken Realms preview, and they've shown off kind of what they're going to talk about. So we've got Necromunda, Warcry, Warhammer Underworlds, Horus Heresy, some 40k and Age of Sigmar. I think I have a pretty good idea of what's going to be shown based on the name Shadow, Iron and Broken Realms. It tells you actually a lot what they're going to do. So let's start with Necromunda. I think this is really going to be talking about the new expansion for Orlok Gang under their book House of Iron. So we saw probably in, months ago actually, it feels like, in June I think, they released the roadmap 2020 for Necromunda. So we've had House of Chains, House of Blades, and then coming on the fourth quarter this year is House of Iron, which is Orloks. So that's what we're going to get. I really have no idea about any models that could come out. I think with particularly House of Blades and the Escher gang, some of those models are just completely out of left field. You have like the Death Maidens, which is very, very unexpected. With House of Chains and Goliath, you do get like this Dimmers and some of the big Berserkers. I think there is a big Berserker model from Forge World, which looks absolutely ridiculous. It's a giant ball of muscle with a tiny little head on it. It's got a cute face. I like it. But for Orlok, I really don't know. You're going to get some, I guess, Juves, but they're not as strong as Gangers, lore-wise. They're not integrated into the gang so much as the other Gangers are. But I really don't know what they'll show, but it will be models and probably not rules. So new plastic kit, the two different things, and maybe a special character. So that's what I'm expecting for there. And that covers the Iron part of it because it is the House of Iron. So next up, we're going to look at Warhammer Underworlds. So again, they released a roadmap in July, actually, a month after the Necromunda one, and announced that Warhammer Underworlds Season 4 will be released in December. So I have no doubt that we'll be seeing what's in the box. It is still August, so it's still 4-ish months away. We do have a multiplayer expansion coming out and then some free other downloadable expansions and cards. But I think they're going to show it off, or at least give hints of what's going to be in there. And I think the logo that they have actually gives a lot away. So if we do look at that, we can see there's a lot of horns, and to me, that has like a bit of a Khorne bloodletter vibe-ish, more Khorne specifically than just bloodletter. I guess more generic horns. What else we got there? We've got a big, I don't know what they're called on dinosaurs, the one right in the middle of the head. Kind of like a fan. It has a name. I don't even know what it is. But I think that's probably Seraphon. So I'm thinking we're going to get a Seraphon warband, which I think is really cool. And that also ties in with some of the symbols at the top. They look sort of, particularly the turned over A on its side and a few others, sort of reminds me of star symbols that the Seraphon go on. And the sort of part of the headdress, because the horns almost look like a bit of a headdress turning into a mask. And there's sort of these two gold bits which seem to be part of that headdress, which makes sense for Seraphon to me. So we've got the horns. We'd have these other sharper horns as well. That could be Nurgle, could be some Sylvaneth wood-like stuff. That's the hint I'm getting there. Obviously, we have the Golden Moon at the bottom. Of course, that's goblins. I think that's probably the easiest one there. I would be surprised if there isn't a Lumineth warband as well. The sort of hanging fabrics with golden triangles at the bottom with the beads, I get a feeling of Lumineth there. So I think we have an idea of what's going to show up. At least a couple of them. I don't know what that will be in the actual box itself. I imagine, going off that image, it's going to be some Khorne style demons, probably some bloodletters. That would be pretty cool. I do want to say Seraphon, but I don't know. I can't really pick it. There's a whole bunch of other imagery in there and icons, so I'm not 100% sure there. So that would be kind of cool. Next up, let's look at Warcry. So I have seen on another website that they have confirmed, rumors have confirmed through valid sources, that the Khainite Shadowstalkers will be shown off completely, which makes sense. That is the warband that we have seen. and I'd be surprised if we don't see any other warbands. I don't know how I completely feel about the models themselves for this warband. It's very different to what is currently there, and of course it should be different because they are the first non-chaos warband, which is kind of cool. I do love the design. They're a bit weird and unique, I guess. I think these are probably like the special characters. Well, not so much characters, but like the more elite part of the warband, and then they'll have some other more generic models. I'm assuming the big one with the sword and the moon staff and the mask and the hair and everything going on, I think that's probably going to be the leader. So I'm sure we're going to see some of that. Will we see some more warbands? Maybe. I think they probably will show off something else, at least tease something else for the warband. Probably a couple just very quick close-up cuts as they have been doing recently. Possibly some monsters, maybe even another expansion. It's about time another expansion came out. I think the last one was the Monsters book, I believe, and they released a few monsters there. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I do love Warcry. I haven't really talked about it on the channel. I've got every warband except one at the moment. I think that's what's happened. And one hasn't come out yet. I think the Scions of the Flame isn't out yet. So let's go to Horus Heresy now. I'm not a big follower of the Horus Heresy, so I've really got no idea. I'm going to assume more Space Marines. Really, I don't know. I really don't know. I do love some of the character models that do come out. And possibly, it'll probably be a Primarch. I've heard a lot of people talking about that they're keen for the Khan to come in on a giant bike, which really, I think that would be actually a really cool model. In my notes I've written down, that would be pretty epic. And I think it would be. It would be a very, very chunky bike. Probably, it's going to be a grav bike. It'd have to be. Reading particularly the Siege of Terror books, I'm pretty sure he was riding a grav bike in there. So I have lots of vivid imagery in my mind of what that's going to look like. So I think that's going to be a pretty cool model. And I assume it's a pretty good speculation that that kind of model will come out. So I'm putting my money on that one as well. But other than that, I don't know. They might talk about the next book. But I really don't keep up with Horus Heresy, so I don't really know what's going to happen. Next up, we have Age of Sigmar. Again, it's just not something I'm really not sure. I think we'll see some more info on Sons of Behemoth, simply because that's the next faction that probably will be revealed. They may even announce an actual date for that. I'm thinking possibly tease another faction. I think they will start talking about some more of the Lumineth models, although I don't know how many more models there will be coming out for that range. I mean, they haven't even released the range yet. They've only done the special edition. So I don't really know how or when that's going to come out. I'm assuming it's going to be soon. I think they might do Sons of Behemoth because that's only going to be a few models, I think. It'll just be like maybe 2 or 3 boxes that you can combine into different giant types. That's the feeling that I get. But the Lumineth, I think they'll probably get a proper reveal date, which will be very soon. But it really depends on, do the Lumineth come first or the Sons of Behemoth come first? I'm not 100% sure. I am hoping for a new faction. If you look at a lot of the rumor images, there seems to be some kind of undead type thing. A few people have talked about sort of an undead elf type army, which I think would be really cool. I can see how they can just really have a lot of fun with that. I think that'd be really, get some really cool models in that. And that would be fun to put together and paint. But I really don't know. So the last one, what else have we got? 40k. I don't think there'll be much 40k at all. And I think they have said somewhere on the Warhammer community site that there won't be much about 40k. There'll be something there, but don't keep your hopes up. Because we've had 9th edition come out, we have so many models that have to be released yet. We might get a look at the secret creepy boy for the Necrons. I think it's the only model they haven't really shown off. And I love the fact they haven't shown it off yet. I think they should just release it and not say anything. Just say, here it is, hey. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in one of the major images that the community team put out, there is a creepy little Necron boy in the background that no information has been put out about. So I'm excited to see what that is because it looks really cool. It could be something for Kill Team. I think it's about time that there'd be another expansion for that. But now that we've talked through all the different product lines, that's a lot of stuff that they're going to be showing off. So I don't think they're really going to show anything major for 40k. We got 9th. That's going to be sitting there for a bit. They've got a whole bunch of models. I think Kill Team will probably get a redress, or it might get an updated rulebook or box set at some stage soon. Could get something for Blackstone Fortress, but I find that's unlikely. We got a reveal in one of the last previews of the final box set for Blackstone Fortress for this storyline, whether they continue the storyline and keep creating keep creating products for Blackstone Fortress. I hope they do. I love the core game for that. I haven't played any of the expansions, but I just love the game. I spent hours and hours playing it when it first came out, so I'm keen for that. So I'm happy that there's not gonna be much 40k. I'm hoping there's not too much. I want a little bit, of course, but I'm happy that the lack of 40k means the other product lines can shine, because yes, 40k is the biggest moneymaker, I assume, for Games Workshop, and I think it is by far, but I love the other lines, so that's good. Now, onto the hopes and dreams section. Firstly, obligatory obligatory squats, Plastic Thunderhawk and Primarch. Yes, I really do want a Plastic Thunderhawk. It's amazing. I think it's time for another Primarch to be released, whether it's a Demon Prince or an actual Primarch. This stuff is not going to come out in this premiere, this preview at all. And squats, I think squats is a tough one. I do want squats to come back. I have very fond memories of flicking through rulebooks from 2nd edition and going, oh, I really want squats. They look really cool. Space dwarves. We got space elves. We got space orcs. Well, not space dwarves. That's awesome. And we have seen there have been a few squats come out in Necromunda, and there's teasers in one of the latest books for Psychic Awakening, but I think that was just a bit of fan service and a bit of a tease. If we do a Primarch Prince, probably Angron, but like I said, it's not going to come out. Now, what I really want, and this is not going to be announced at all, I don't even know if this be in production. 2 things. A new version of Inquisition at 28mm scale with a new range of models. I imagine that if they did it, it wouldn't be the same as the old Inquisition. It would be a much more simpler system that has its pros and cons, but I can guarantee you that's not going to be announced. Not going to happen. I do hope they have something in the works for it, but it's not going to happen. The big one, which will not be announced, and I think I've mentioned it before in another video, or 2 or 3 or 4, Epic 40,000. It's not going to be out this year at all. It'll be, if they do something, it might be next year or the year after that, so 21 or 22. And we're already getting there with Adeptus Titanicus and Aeronautica Imperialis, but with 9th edition just launching, they're not going to announce any major new lines for the 40k universe. That's not going to happen. All right, I've rambled on for like 15 minutes now. This was meant to be a super quick video, just talking about what's going to happen, but I started to ramble. Oh, so tell me what your predictions are in the comments. I'm excited to know. I think it's pretty obvious. I haven't gotten anything too specific, but I think for things like Necromunda, we know. Warhammer Underworlds, we generally know. Warcry, we have an idea. Horus Heresy, no idea. Age of Sigmar, no idea. And 40k, it's not going to be anything major. So there we have it. Yeah, so let me know in the comments. If you do enjoy these types of videos, please leave a sub and hit that bell icon, because on the weekend, probably Sunday morning for me, because if we look at the times of when the preview is on, it is 10:45 p.m. Australian time, and it usually goes to about midnight or after midnight, so I'm not making a video after that. But let's wrap this video up. I'm rambling again. So until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.